Hey folks, today's the day. This is gonna be the best pros and cons video you will see for living in Tampa, Florida in 2024. Why? Because you will see other videos that focus on the weather and the hurricanes and the bugs. I know because over the last few years, I've shot a few of those myself, so I'm guilty of the same thing. And FYI, they're not wrong. I actually agree with them, but that's not today. Today, you're getting a refreshed version. I'm talking about things you haven't heard before and things that no other videos on here will mention. Things like vitamin D deficiencies, a new way to look at the cost of living in Tampa and your health and well-being living right here in Tampa. You heard that right. And don't worry, because I'm not going so outside the box where you won't get the stuff you're looking for. I'll give that to you too, so stay tuned. So I know most of you watching right now are wondering what it's like living in Tampa, Florida. You could possibly even be planning to move to Tampa. And so I'm asking you to stick around a bit or fast forward if you must, but I first plan to talk about current topics that are important to know in 2024. And if you can live with these, then near the end, I'll top you off with the fun stuff, the stuff that will be the real reason you'll want to live here. Money just named Tampa as a top 10 place to live in America for a second year in a row, and the near 150 people that move here every day, they probably agree with them. Being in the spotlight over the last few years, there's no denying that Tampa has grown, and with its newfound popularity comes new pros and cons. While I'm still very happy with my city and where we are headed, you can definitely start to feel some of those growing pains and how much busier the city is. My wife and I, we love to go out and enjoy a date night when we can. And recently I've noticed having dinner reservations is almost a must now. It was always a popular thing for hotspots like Burn's Steakhouse, but I've noticed everywhere seems to be those hotspots these days. I've noticed major roadways are busier, A and B rated schools are packed with kids, some even with waiting lists, and everything's moving at a faster pace. Now, this is still Florida, so don't get me wrong. We're still on vacation time, but it's just a faster version of it. While all this seems like a massive negative, and there is no way to spin it into something it's really not, I've really started to look at things with a different lens. And in a weird way, I can see it all just unfolding. So hear me out. Tons of people moved here, and things started to feel busier. Others, quote unquote, business and developers took notice and started coming to Tampa also. The influx of domestic migration has caused Tampa to surge, and the economy is booming along with its new residents. Tampa now has this competitive spirit to be better, and you can see new developments everywhere. The city is literally transforming in front of our eyes at a pace where most will either complain or embrace it. I personally love the transformation because while it's growing, many that are involved are also focused on keeping many of Tampa's history and traditions alive, all while modernizing our city. Now, talking about things I appreciate you for supporting my channel, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And being licensed realtors, if you plan on moving to the Tampa area, don't hesitate to reach out to my team because we would love to help you and your family find your next home. In the last few years, Tampa has received a variety of awards for being a great business city, and it probably shocked a few people because most think we are all play and no work, and that's not true anymore. Our main drivers have always been financial and professional services, defense and security, healthcare, manufacturing, and distribution, but the sector that has had the most growth has been our information technology industry. Tampa has created more IT jobs than any other city in Florida and has quickly become one of the top cities in the nation for tech jobs. In 2024, affordability, it'll be a hot topic in all major cities around the country, and inflation pains are very real with people wondering when incomes will start to rise. Well, as Tampa continues to attract new companies that create more local jobs, our economy further diversifies and more high-paying jobs enter the market for our locals. And this takes me to the infamous cost of living. Guys and girls, you can't shoot the messenger on this one. These days, the cost of living in Tampa can be a touchy subject. Why? Because so many people remember the good old days where homes were $150,000 and McDonald's actually had a decent dollar menu, but those days are gone. What I find is that a lot of people compare what they knew of Tampa, the slow-paced mom and pop city that was affordable as can be and just flew under the radar, to the city it has become now, and expect the cost of living to be the same. I get people from all over relocating here, and these people are coming from larger cities that don't think it's bad, while people coming from smaller cities thinks it's a little bit too expensive. So I did some digging, and here's what I came up with. I found recent data charting Tampa's cost of living from 2020 towards the end of 2023, comparing Tampa to the national 3-year average. Then it continued to break it further, comparing Tampa to similar competitive markets. And this map gives us a nice visual showing Tampa as one of the more affordable options from this list of similar sized metros. As we continue, you can see Tampa is currently charted under the average cost of living compared to the national average. And if we take a look at the final 2 sections, you can see Tampa is middle of the pack for major Florida cities, and once again on the lower end of the pack for similar larger sized metros. My case in point, yes, Tampa's cost has increased in the last few years, but we can't compare it to Mobile, Alabama. If you're gonna say it's expensive, you have to compare apples to apples with similar sized metros. The people that are relocating here get that, and they are making the choice to move to a better lifestyle, trading out their current home near a larger competitive city and planting roots in Tampa. It's the change that many of you want, but comes down to timing for most, or opportunity. Opportunity can rear its head in many different things, but for most, it's a job opportunity, and I'm seeing a ton of folks relocating here for new tech jobs, military getting transferred to MacDill, and since our medical field is booming, we are getting a ton of healthcare professionals. We are almost to the good part, but I've got 2 more quick costs you need to know about if you are planning on moving to Tampa, Florida, or living in Tampa in 2024. Keep an eye out for home insurance costs and the interest rates when planning to buy a home. This should come as no surprise by now, but Tampa, along with the state of Florida, has been battling rising home insurance costs, and some is due to past hurricanes, but majority of it has to do with false roofing claims over the past years that have crippled insurance companies. The more that leave the state, the more risk is involved and prices rise. So here's what you really need to know. The biggest risk is with older homes. I live in a 1970s home, around 2,700 square feet, and I pay around $5,000 per year on insurance when it used to be half that. I also don't pay the cheapest one, so keep that in mind. But one thing to know is that if you prefer new construction, my same house would only cost about $90 per month to insure. It's because the older homes carry more risk and newer homes get all the nice discounts, making it more affordable. Now, I mentioned interest rates not because there's anything sneaky here, but my advice before home shopping: speak with a lender and become more comfortable with what a payment looks like now. With higher interest rates, you should pay attention to your monthly payment to understand what you're comfortable with, and then you can go shopping with a clear mind. And FYI, I'm shooting this video at the beginning of 2024, and I am predicting rates to slowly start to ease through 2024 into 2025, but not enough to make a world of a difference. So don't wait another 2 years on the sidelines if the move is right for you right now.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Call now.
Okay, fun time. You heard it right at the beginning of the video: vitamin D deficiencies and your health and well-being. Well, I've been told by a bunch of folks that moved here from other, northern areas or in colder regions that have winter months, and they really mess with them. They said that they feel cooped up during the cold winter months, and they don't have a ton of bright sunny days where they're not all covered up with the big jackets outdoors, and they end up having to take vitamin D supplements to compensate. They also mentioned at times it's known for people to get depressed, have anxiety, or other issues when cooped up for different seasons. Now, after moving to Tampa, both of those issues went away on their own. Year round, you can get outside and get as much sun as you want, and they stopped taking those supplements. They also said there is never a down season, so they didn't feel cooped up. They could get out and do things and meet other people all year round. They said living in Tampa has done wonders for their mental state and their happiness. Most of you love hearing about the pros and cons because you want to know the good and the bad, and I always say you have to love where you live. So if you're good with our growing pains and you can manage our new cost of living, then here's a few good reasons why it's all worth it. They say that the way to a person's heart is through their stomach. Well, in 2023, Tampa was awarded with 3 Michelin star restaurants and a total of 24 that made the Michelin Guide. Tampa has never really had walkable areas, but in the past few years, the addition of Midtown Tampa, Water Street, and the expansion of the Riverwalk has really added to our walkable areas. These developments are just a handful of new additions, and they have been game changers for the city. Most of you know Tampa as a sports city because We have a ton of professional and spring training teams here, but most don't know that we have the Rowdies pro soccer team, and making their debut in 2024, we now have a women's pro soccer team, the Tampa Bay Sun. Now, to make things even better, recently announced the University of South Florida Bulls will be getting a new stadium breaking ground in 2024, and the Rays announced plans for a new field as well. In 2023, USA Today gave the Tampa Riverwalk the number 2 spot for America's top riverwalks, and it's only going to get better because plans to expand the Riverwalk to the west, connecting nearly 5 miles of Tampa's top attractions, will begin in 2024. And one of my favorite things about the city is the calendar of events. There is literally endless things to do in the city, from the beaches to the casino to great dinner date night spots. But my favorite thing is to check the weekend calendar to see what's going on, because sometimes you just want to be spontaneous. If you're like me, you will love how full our calendar of events are. The list of things to do is in the hundreds, but just looking at the major events in Tampa, like the Gasparilla Festival, which is close to 1 million in attendance, we have major events like this every month. So like I was saying earlier about being cooped up, just doesn't happen here. And as much as us locals love our city, sometimes you just want a change of scenery. It's easy to get that because we have the #1 airport in the country for the 2nd year in a row, and you can catch a cruise out of our port anytime you want. But check this out. The high-speed Brightline train that just opened in Orlando, connecting Orlando to Miami, it's eyeing Tampa as the next hub. Connecting Tampa to Orlando to Miami, that'd be a big deal for the city and for the state of Florida. And I didn't mention our world-class beaches, no state income tax, and the fact that we live where others vacation, all while living just an hour from Disney World, where some people save up years just to visit. We also have natural springs, hiking and biking trails, endless fishing and water sports, and more golf courses than you can imagine. Yes, Tampa has its negatives, but it makes the top list of places to live for a reason. If you think you're ready to call Tampa home and have questions about moving here, see that number on the screen, give us a call. Shoot us a text or send us an email, because my team and I would be happy to help you and your family find your next home. So until that next video, I'll catch you later.